What's up, everybody? The Soldier Barber Life here, back with another video. And today in this video we are going to be doing a haircut tutorial. This client has not had a haircut in well over a year, so this is a big transformation cut that we are going to be doing. The client requested to get a medium to high skin fade and to trim down his beard, so I just start this process out by picking it all out. Grab my pick, and then we're just gonna pick this hair out, and then we are going to start attacking this cut. Let's go. Alright, so my client requested to have a 1.5 on the top, so I'm starting this cut out by using my number 3 guard, and I'm going against the grain on this, just trying to knock down a bunch of this bulk. This is a lot of hair, so you never know like if there's any cowlicks or anything that's under here. So a lot of times what you want to do is go with a larger guard and then use a smaller guard to get it to the desired length that you want it to be at. The next thing I'm going to be doing is grabbing my balding clipper and setting in my bald guideline, and I usually tap this in. I set it in a hard guideline, but when you're doing this, you just want to do a soft tap on there. Don't press too hard onto it, otherwise it'll make it harder to remove that guideline. And then after I establish this guideline where I want it, this client did want a medium to high fade, so I'm setting that a little bit above the C cups, and then I'm going to go underneath it, flip that clipper over, and then bald out all the hair that's underneath there. So the next step that I'm doing is grabbing my 1.5 guard, and I'm going with the grain. This is the desired length that the client wants. So after debulking everything and taking all the hair off, I'm going with the grain and setting the conditions for the length that the client does want his hair on top. The next thing I'm going to be doing is using that same 1.5 guard, and I'm going to be taking the client's beard down. He did want this taken down to remove some of the bulk that he had on there, so I'm going against the grain with that same 1.5 guard to get the beard down to that desired length. So now I'm going to be setting in my first guideline that I have here, and I'm going to set that guideline in about 1 inch. And I'm going in with the clipper with the lever all the way open and set that guideline in. And then what I like to do afterwards is I close that guard all the way, and then I flick out on that guideline about halfway up, and then I finish up each one of my guidelines by closing the lever halfway and then blending the top to the bottom of that guideline. I'm going to be setting in my next guideline with the number 1 guard, and I'm going to be using the same process. So about a 1 inch guideline on this one with the lever all the way open, and then I close the lever all the way and attack the bottom ½ inch of that guideline, and then I close the lever about halfway and blend those 2 guidelines together. So the next step, I'm going to be doing the same thing, grabbing my 1.5 guard, and then I'm going to be setting in another 1 inch guideline. And on this one, same thing, we are going to go with the lever all the way open about 1 inch, close that lever all the way, and attack the bottom ½ inch of the guideline, and then close the lever about halfway and blend those 2 together. One technique when I'm getting up closer in the parietal ridge area that I also like to do is I like to close my lever all the way and then go with the grain, and then that just helps blend the top of the hair into the sides where I've faded it as well. So the next guard that I'm using is the number 2 guard, and you can see that I'm going against the grain. So against the grain is going very different directions, whatever way the hair is growing. But that's the largest guard that I'll be using, and I'm just going around the head, just trying to blend that area in around the parietal ridge, blending that desired length on top into the fade on the sides. And for the last part of this fade, I'm going to be using various guards doing detail work here. So any guidelines that I may see, any dark areas that may still be there, I'm going to go ahead and use various guards, open and close that lever, and do that until this fade completely comes together. Now that the fade is complete, I'm going to be blending the beard into the fade, and what I'll be doing there is just using my clipper, opening and closing that lever, and using different guards here. So I start out with the no guard, lever open and then close that, and then I'll transition to using my half guard and my one guard just to blend that in and give a good transition on that beard. Now that we are done with the fade, we're going to transition over to the lineup, and I like to start my lineup by doing prep work. So how I prep my lineup is I get some shaving cream and I apply it to the hairline and along the beard line, and then just kind of rub that in to be able to clean that hairline. And then I like to follow it up with the hot towel, and then using my hot towel I also will give a hot towel facial massage as well. And then after that I'll wipe that shaving cream off, and usually what that does is that cleans up that area really good for me. That way it's no dirt, grease, or oils on there, and it preps the skin in a way to where you'll have a really sharp lineup. Next thing I'm going to do is apply some Hoden spray to the hairline, and then I'll grab my blow dryer and I will brush down that hairline with the blow dryer on the cool setting. And what this does is just lock all those hairs in place and prep it so I can give a good lineup and those hairs won't be moving. So as you can see, this is a lot of overgrowth on this hairline. This has definitely got my work cut out for me on here. But what I like to do is I like to start in the middle of the hairline and then work my way to the corners. And then as I establish a straight line going all the way across, then that's when I'll start working on the vertical bars and carving out those vertical bars, just trying to make everything as symmetrical as possible. But then we'll just really take our time on this, especially since this is a very overgrown hairline. This will be establishing a new hairline and making a new hairline for this client. So just taking my time here and really being meticulous about setting this hairline up. Now we're going to start working on lining up the beard, and when I'm doing this, I'm trying to keep this beard as wide as possible, so really not trying to dig into it too much or carve into there. Just a lot of light taps to establish the shape that this client does want on their beard. And even for the part of the beard underneath the neck, you just want to find that nice balance underneath there to where you're not taking it up too high. So usually the rule of thumb will be like 1 to 2 fingers above the Adam's apple, and use that as your guideline to set that in. But if you raise it up too high, it'll really make the jawline look off. So that's just one of the tricks there. Just look at what looks better, what looks natural on your client's beard, and then kind of ask them what their preference may be for that as well. So the next thing I'm going to be doing is utilizing a straight razor on my client's hairline. And one key thing when you're using a straight razor is you want to have a lot of tension on the skin. So pull the skin in the opposite direction that you're going to be utilizing the straight razor. And then the angle that you want to be holding your straight razor, you want to hold it really kind of parallel to the head as well. So you don't want it angled up too much, otherwise you run the risk of nicking your client. So now we're going to be adding some enhancements to the hairline. The original hairline was nice and crispy, but I'm just going to add some additional enhancements to it. That's going to enhance the hairline, darken it up a little bit, and then give it a lot more contrast on this haircut. And then the same thing for the beard. We're going to add a light amount of enhancements on there. Usually there are some areas on a beard that may not connect, so using the enhancements on there will give it that more fuller appearance. Then we're just going to follow up those areas that we added the enhancements with the straight razor, just cleaning everything up, trying to make these lines as sharp as possible. Thing I like to do is style my client's hair, and what I'm doing here is just applying some pomade to the hair, and I'm going to brush this in. And styling your client's hair is a very important part of the haircut because it makes that haircut just photo ready and has them ready to go. Your client shouldn't have to go back and touch their haircut or do anything to it after they've been serviced by you. This just really sets you apart from other barbers when you do these little small details. Then the next thing I'm going to do is just grab my trimmer, and then this is just paying attention to detail, really being meticulous and cleaning away any flyaways, any hairs that may be standing up, and then also taking the cape off the back of your client and then cleaning up the hairs that are below the cape on the neck. All these little things are small attention to details that your clients will notice and will make you stand out as a barber. And the last thing you want to do after finishing your haircut is get your neck duster or your air blower and clean off any hair off of your clients. You have to look at this haircut like it is a painting canvas, and you want your finest work to appear at the end of it. Now I'm just showing my client the finished haircut and get that nod of approval. And just a reminder, this is what my client came in looking like, hair overgrown for over a year, and this is what they look like afterwards. One crazy transformation that we have here. If you guys like this video, please subscribe to the channel, drop a comment down below, drop a like on this video. Until next time, Soldier Barber Life signing off the net.